What is up, sports bettors? Welcome to the Thursday before the Super Bowl episode of Guys and Bets. Andrew Avery here with Jonny OddsShark, and today on the show we're going to take a look at more Super Bowl 53 props, more of the exotic variety. And we talked to our good buddy Frank Schwab about more Super Bowl stuff, and we've got Gilles Gallant with NBA quick picks as well. A little housekeeping to do off the top here. And just a reminder, as we mentioned on the Tuesday show, that Jonny and I are going to be live right here on Super Bowl Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern to talk more. Yeah?
Very excited.
Very excited about that.
Very excited for Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, to talk more Super Bowl stuff and to take your questions as well. Also, if you don't have your Super Bowl party prop sheet yet,
and they don't. Nobody does yet.
I saw somebody tweeted at us their filled out copy of this. So join our party prop sheet contest to win the Ultimate Sports Fan prize pack. To enter, tweet us a picture of your completed OddsShark party prop sheet before kickoff, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and follow the action using the hashtag OS Super Bowl Party. See contest details at www.oddshark.com.
That's a great prop sheet. And if you've ever tried to put one of these together yourself, you know that this job is way harder than it looks.
Very difficult.
So just go to the website, print it off. Your party people will be happy.
Just use the one that we've provided there on the website. It has everything you need. It's very fun.
It is.
So we're going to fill ours out, talk about it on the Super Bowl show?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Spend various minutes breaking down each one.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Which we also did on the podcast this week, so check that out. Right. We broke down a lot of fun ones. We agree it was our best episode ever.
I said I went one further. I think it might be the best podcasting episode of all time.
In the history of podcasts.
Cereal.
I think you
might trump cereal.
I love it. I love it. Listen in.
Let's get right into tonight's bites, Jonny. You were 5-1 going into the week. 0-3 on Tuesday, but there's nowhere to go but up. Let's start in the NBA. Bucks at Raptors. This opened Raps -3, down half point now. Raptors have won 10 straight games at home, but are just slightly above 500 at the betting window. 6-4 ATS in those games. What do you like?
Beasts of the East, the two top teams in the East here. I'm going to go with the Bucks here. They're the #2 road scoring defense in the NBA. They're the #1 road rebounding team in the NBA. Those are two stats I love when two teams play each other. It's going to be a scrappy game. I'll take the Bucks.
Let's go to the NHL now. Blue Jackets at Jets. Jets on a 5-game winning streak at home. Over has hit in 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams with an average combined score of 7.4. Boone Jenner apparently out for the Jackets. What's up with Dustin Byfuglien for the Jets?
Well, he's out too, and he's such a huge impact player. The Jets are immediately easier to play against when Buff is not in the lineup. They're more fun to play against. So I lean to the Jackets here. They've lost 3 in a row. They've given up a ton of goals. They'll play tough defense, taking them on the goal line, +1.5. I know it's big juice, but I'm still laying. I love it. I'm taking it.
Finish off in college hoops. Gonzaga at BYU. Gonzaga favored by what? 14 here, 2 touchdowns. Supercomputer predicting a blowout, 30-point Zags win. Gonzaga 8-2 ATS in the last 10. What do you like?
Well, a little bit of a holy war here. The Jesuits versus the Mormons in this one, so holy war part 2. But Gonzaga, you don't need to play the zigzag theory with these guys. Just bet them every game. 15-6 against the spread this year. They're on an 11-game winning streak. They won their last 10 by an average of 36 points. They're going to win big here as well. I'm on Gonzaga, but I also like the under. Very high total.
166.5. Under, -110 there. There you go. 3 picks from tonight's bites from Jonny OddsShark. Super Bowl 53, just a couple days away. Let's check in with the odds here, Jonny. Pat's still -2.5, though there still are some 3s out there, and the total 56.5. Do you think those will be the closing numbers come kickoff?
No, I don't. I think the total will get bumped up a little bit as the late over money comes in. I think we'll see some more 3s, Rams +3 to bring in some Ram money, and might settle at 2 or 2.5. We'll see, but we'll see some more line movement leading up to kickoff.
So on the Tuesday show, we talked about player props, specifically QB, running back, and receiver game props. Today, though, Jonny's got his top 3 exotic plays for Super Bowl 53. First, explain to the viewers who might not know what an exotic prop is.
An exotic is something that's outside the field of play, anything that doesn't pertain to the game itself. It's just how it sounds. Entertainment props are sometimes called. very exotic wagers.
And the first one you've got involves the broadcast booth, and most notably, of course, Tony Romo, who is some sort of wizard at predicting plays. And we got, what's the prop here? Correct predicted plays?
Correctly predicted plays, 7.5. I'm going to go under in this one because I think it's going to be a tough one to grade. What will actually be considered a correctly called play?
Right.
What won't be? Sometimes it's ambiguous. So I like the under. I think this one's going to have some controversy to it.
Great logic there. There is some bit of a conspiracy theory floating around that Romo's getting fed plays from the sideline.
It's not a conspiracy. This happens every single game that you watch. The crew meets with the coaches, and depending on their relationship, the coaches usually give them some stuff. And the general public does not know this, but there's a reason why they correctly predict some of these plays.
Adam Levine and Maroon 5, I guess, doing the halftime show. And of course, one of the big ones for the halftime show is first song to be played. What's got your eye here?
Well, Moves Like Jagger, to me, should be the favorite.
Well, you were whistling it ad nauseum before we took to the airwaves.
I know.
I can't get it out of my head now.
Great. Well, that's why. It's 6-1. That's the longer shot, but you always have to pay attention to the favorite in these because there's a reason why they're favored. That's because a lot of people see the halftime rehearsal shows.
Right.
So it makes me wonder, is the favorite at even money? You cannot ignore that. There's a reason it's favored. There's always a leak for these ones.
And last one we'll do is Gatorade color. What do you like?
I like clear. I think the Pats are going to win. I think they'll go with clear. Good old traditional clear. Feels like the Patriots, doesn't it? But if the Rams win, I like blue. I think they want to make a mess out of Sean McVay's hair.
Yeah, because your theory is that blue is the messiest.
It's the messiest.
Most stainy color?
Yes, exactly. And I think McVay spends more time in the mirror than any of his players.
That's
so
probably
they'll want to
true.
mess up his hair.
So there you go, 3 exotic props for Super Bowl 53. And we talked more Super Bowl, but on-field stuff with our good buddy Frank Schwab of Yahoo and Team OddsShark. Of course, we get his pick. And a couple of things that feel might go under the radar that each of these teams do very well that the public might not be in on. So let's go to Frank Schwab, see what he had to say.
We now welcome into Guys and Bets our good friend Frank Schwab, NFL writer with Yahoo Sports, and one of the smartest football guys I've ever known. So, Frank, I want to ask you, what is one thing that both the Rams and the Patriots do well that they don't really get enough credit for?
You know, I think people are coming around to this about the Patriots, but maybe the casual fan doesn't know. Their offensive line has been incredible. It is really amazing. They lose Nate Solder. Isaiah Wynn, he's out for an injury. But yet, this is a team that didn't allow a sack in their first 2 playoff games. And they're 2 good pass rushing teams. The Chargers can get after the quarterback. The Chiefs, for all their defensive issues, they can still get after the quarterback. Now, a lot of that's on Tom Brady. He's really good at keeping his sack rate low. He knows when to get rid of the ball. But this offensive line's playing really well, and that comes in handy against this Wade Phillips defense with Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, Dante Fowler. They're really protecting Tom Brady well, and they have really good guards that can take care of Aaron Donald, at least slow Aaron Donald down a little bit. I think that presents a matchup problem for the Rams. So I think that's one thing. And then with the Rams, I think it's their kicking game. People saw Greg Zuerlein hit the big field goals, but Johnny Hecker's been a weapon for them. Bill Belichick's talked about that since the championship games last week. And we know Zuerlein, he can hit him from 57 out with the game on the line. I think the Rams' kicking game is something that really should factor in here. They're very good.
Let's jump into 2 of my favorite prop bets. One is Super Bowl MVP, and the other is first touchdown scorer. Can you give us a couple of long shots that you think might have a shot to win each of those?
Yeah, absolutely. And for MVP, I don't think this is going to be that uncommon of a pick, but I think it's James White. He's a guy I can see catching 13, 14 balls if they decide to go with that game plan. We saw him do that against the Falcons. Some do it against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. When they want to get him involved in the offense, he can get a lot of volume. A lot of people argue that he should have been the MVP of that Falcons comeback. He had a great game. He obviously scored the game-winning touchdown. It was going to go to Tom Brady that time. And honestly, it's so hard to pick against a quarterback for Super Bowl MVP because I think the voters are just wired to pick MVP, pick a quarterback. It's easy for them. But I think if there's somebody a little bit further down the list, James White to me just stands out as a guy who big plays. And hey, Wisconsin with that. I got to go through there. And for first touchdown scored, I really like C.J. Anderson. I don't know exactly what's going on with Todd Gurley. I don't believe he's healthy. I don't buy what they're saying that the game flow meant C.J. Anderson was going to play. I think there's something going on with Gurley's health. And a good way for them to scale Todd Gurley back is to give C.J. Anderson the goal line carries. So if C.J. Anderson is the goal line guy there, and I also kind of like Rex Burkhead for the Patriots. He scored a couple goal line touchdowns, big ones against the Chiefs. I like looking at those goal line backs. I think C.J. Anderson's going to be the goal line back for the Rams. Rex Burkhead is probably going to be the goal line back for the Patriots. And I think there's good value in both of those guys scoring the first touchdown.
Being the massive television event that it is, Super Bowl always offers hundreds and hundreds of props, be it game props, player props, exotics, what have you. What's one or two prop bets out there that has grabbed your attention?
I'll let you guys deal with the anthem length and the color of the Gatorade and all. Though I think it favors the offense, really. We're talking about 4 or 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls have gone over. And while I don't always believe in trends, I do believe in that trend. I don't think officials want to call penalties. I think that these teams have a couple weeks to prepare, so they're a little more wide open, especially with these coaches. They're very creative. Josh McDaniels calling the Patriots offense, Sean McVay calling the Rams offense. So when I see Tom Brady over 300 yards. When I see Jared Goff, I believe it's 290 or 289 for him. I like the overs on those. I like a lot of the over touchdowns. I think it's maybe 5.5 total touchdowns. I'm fully on board with that. I think anything that and it's fun to bet the overs on these things, right? Over yards, over touchdowns. It's better than betting the under. So I think that the public can jump on that. I'm all for anything with the offense because I just think this is an offensive game. The only game in the Super Bowl, last 6 Super Bowls, that hasn't gone over was that Broncos-Panthers Super Bowl. And we all know the Broncos were out and they're all very good. Every other year, though, we're seeing an explosion of offense. We saw 1,100 yards last year. So I think anything that has to do with over yards is a pretty good value still because this is the way Super Bowls are played now.
All right, let's get your expert analysis. Super Bowl Sunday, how do you see the game shaking out, and what side are you on here?
I really like the Patriots. I know this line moved right away. I mean, it came out Rams, small favorite, and then moved right to the Patriots, and I agree with that completely. I think that the Patriots weren't the best team. The Rams were the better team over the course of the season, but the Patriots got hot at the right time. I remember watching Week 17, as I'm sure you guys did. I'm watching them destroy the Jets, and I'm thinking, okay, well, the Jets are mailing this in, but maybe the Patriots are getting it going at the right time of year, and that really turned out to be the case. I think the rest really helped them. They look rejuvenated. They just look like a veteran team that knew, all right, we need to peak at the right time. I was really impressed with them against beating the Chiefs like they did, especially first half when they shut down Mahomes. I'm just really impressed with the Patriots now. I think they have a bad taste in their mouth from losing last year. I think that motivates them a little more, not that they need it. I'm not a huge guy into Super Bowl experience. We saw a Seattle Seahawks team a few years ago. It had nobody who would want a ring on that team. They destroyed the Broncos. But I do think it matters a little bit. These Patriots have been here. They've done that. I do believe Todd Gurley's not 100%, and that does hinder the Rams a little bit. Everything in this game points to the Patriots for me. Look, the Rams can win. They're a very good team. They won at New Orleans. I was very impressed by that, obviously. But I'm just seeing all the matchup things, the coaching, everything points to the Patriots in this game for me. I'll be on them.
Excellent. Well, I'm always feeling a little bit better when I'm on the same side as you, Frank. And thank you so much for joining us. Have fun in Atlanta this week.
Absolutely, fellas. Hey, you guys do a great job with the show. I'm really, really glad to be on this week.
Thanks, Frank.
Great stuff from Frank Schwab, as always, at Yahoo Schwab on Twitter if you aren't following him quite yet. And if you're looking for NBA bets from tonight's board, which features some pretty good games, you've already picked the Bucks. Let's see what our boy Gilles Gallant is on as he has this Thursday edition of NBA Quick Picks.
Thanks, Johnny and Ninja. Let's get to my NBA quick picks for January 31st. Schedule makers were good to us for tonight's primetime games, and these lines stood out immediately as great value picks. Enough of me standing in front of the green screen. Let's get to the picks. My first pick is to take the Raptors to cover the spread at home versus the Bucks. Sorry, Johnny. The Raptors have had some ups and downs this month, but they're still dominant in the T-Dot. They're 21-4 straight up in 25 home games and have won 10 straight at home with an average win margin of 11.3 points. In fact, they haven't lost at home since the last time they hosted Milwaukee, so payback could be in order. The Bucks are obviously a worthy challenger to the Raps, and although they've won their last 2 games in Toronto, they haven't been crushing teams on the road like they used to. Milwaukee is averaging 16.6 turnovers in road games this month and has seen their shooting percentages drop across the board in January. I expect this to be a close game, but I don't think Kyle Lowry will get shut out this time around, so give me the Raps in this one. My next pick is to take the Sixers to cover the spread on the road versus the Warriors. I know what you're thinking, betting against the Warriors at home? Are you on drugs? Well, yeah, but that's besides the point. The Sixers have matchups they can exploit against the Dubs, and it starts with Joel Embiid. The 7-footer is averaging 29.4 points per game this month, and Philly has covered the spread in 6 of the last 7 games in this matchup. It may seem like sacrilege to bet against the Warriors at Oracle, but did you know they're 3-9-1 ATS in their last 13 games in Oakland? I'm not saying the Sixers will win this game, I'm just saying they can keep this game within 10 points, so get on them now before the line drops. For more NBA betting coverage, head over to OddsShark.com. For NHL picks, be sure to check out Chris Abbott's NHL Quick Picks every Tuesday. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to OddsShark's channel for all the best betting content on the tube. Now let's get back to Guys and Bets.
Great stuff, Gilles. Thank you very much. There you go. Some picks from the NBA board. There you go. Some NBA picks, Schwab's picks, some exotics. We did player props on the Tuesday show. And don't forget to join us right here on Super Bowl Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, when we will break down everything you need to know.
Maybe.
Updated line moves, props, Johnny's pick, and all that fun stuff. You know what one of the biggest props is?
What?
Coin toss.
Oh, right.
We talked about it on the podcast, but what are you taking?
Tails.
You are a tails
never fails. That is what I subscribe to, yes.
Tails never fails.
And you're on heads.
I am, yeah,
you
because
like
I like the blocks of 4 that you you uncovered there.
You like sequences in math class in grade school.
Dude, I was the worst student at math.
Oh, wow, don't tell them that.
Horrible. So that's it for today's show. Like I said, we'll be back on Super Bowl Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Follow Johnny on Twitter at Jonny OddsShark and follow me at Chalk_Ninja. Don't forget to go out and get the podcast. That's at iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. We talk about a ton of props, exotics, players, otherwise on this week's episode of the podcast. Thanks for watching. We will check in with you on Super Bowl Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here at Guys and Bets. And I will be back next week. Jonny OddsShark is off. I will have Joe Osborne and Chris Abbott on the 2 shows next week, so stay tuned for all that fun stuff. Whatever you do with your NBA bets tonight, best of luck, and we will leave you with the Shark Bite of the Day.